Hey, hey, everybody. Welcome. It's time for our Tuesday live stream. This is one of my favorite times of the entire week because me and most recently my team also, we go on live and we just talk about different parts of your business, ways to get out there, social media, how to market, how to choose your services, how to become a virtual assistant and change your life by doing so. So that's what we're doing today. And I'm so excited because I'm joined here by Courtney Roberts. Courtney, how long have you been on the team? I feel it's been like almost a year now, right?
Yeah, I started in July, so it's gone by really fast, but it's crazy.
Oh, I love it, Courtney. You guys are just gonna fall in love with her. She's amazing. She is our creative director. She has just been so instrumental in not only just growing our socials, which is awesome, right? But really, one of the things that I've loved since you've joined the team is that I feel like there's so much personality in our socials now, and that you and our entire marketing team has really just brought like the fun into our brand. And I love that. And I love you, and everyone else is going to love you. So let's,
Yay!
let's just start off with like an introduction. I'd love for people just to know a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what you do, how you got here type of thing.
Sure, yeah. So I'm Courtney. I am the creative director at the Virtual Savvy. So yeah, like Abby said, you can catch me behind the scenes of all the social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, and also designing the graphics for those socials and for our blog, which is a lot of fun. I do have a bachelor's degree in art and kind of a unique background in digital marketing and retail as well. And so kind of like a lot of our savvies, I was working in retail and I was just kind of over that 9 to 5 life. I really wanted to be creative and make people laugh on social media and have fun in that way. So I Googled, like we all do, and found the Virtual Savvy, and I became obsessed and applied for the creative assistant job. And here I am. It's been like a crazy ride, and I'm so excited to be here doing what I love in social media. It's crazy.
Right? Like, I mean, for anybody, and I don't know if you guys feel this way, whether you are, how many of you guys like watching here live? How many of you have already like quit your day job, or you're doing this full time, or maybe you're like doing this part time, but you're pretty much like work from like this is the only job that you do now is some kind of like virtual assistant or remote work. Like, let me know in the comments if that's you, because it's so cool. Like sometimes you have to step back and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is my job. This is my life. Like I just work from home doing something that I love. Like, how does that
It's
feel?
wild. It's pretty crazy, especially on social media. It's like just becoming so much more popular. It's wild. So I think that that's definitely something you guys should look into. Social media management. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. It's a lot to keep up with too. So that's a lot of what we're gonna talk about today, of just diving into Instagram in particular, but really, I mean, like Courtney handles all of our socials and she's so knowledgeable. So especially when we do the Q&A time, guys, this is your time to really just ask her questions. And it's cool because she's managing our brand, which we've been around a while. We're more established. It's like we've gone from 8,000 to almost 20,000 Instagram subscribers in like the past year, which is phenomenal. But what's so cool too is that Courtney is also, and I have to give it a shout out, she's also starting her own like Instagram and YouTube channel and all that stuff. So she's at like she's learning all the stuff from like the advanced stages, but she's also at the beginning stages and finding what works, like the stuff that works from like a beginner level too. So go follow her, keeping it court.
Thanks. Yeah,
Right?
go follow me, subscribe.
Someone on our team put it in the comments because you guys need to go follow her because her stuff is amazing. But it's just so cool because I think you have such a unique perspective from that point. So,
Sure.
how did you even get interested in social media? Like, how did this kind of come about?
Yeah, I mean, I've been obsessed with social media like from the beginning. I remember in middle school, I was not supposed to have a MySpace. Mom, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I was not supposed to have a MySpace, totally had a MySpace. And as soon as I learned how to customize my background and my friends' backgrounds and my top 8, I was like, this is game over. Like, this is what I'm doing. I've got to work in social media. I don't know what that is, but I got to figure it out. So MySpace, Facebook, and just like, I think the community really is what got me interested, being able to use social media to really like find your people, your group of people who have the same interests as you do. I really use social media for entertainment because I love making people laugh. And so trying to figure that into how to, be a social media manager. Still working on that. But I don't know if you remember the app Vine.
Yeah.
That was like
I never got into
original.
it. I wasn't cool enough for
It came
Vine.
out when I was in college. Yeah, and that first like short form video content, I think it was only 2 best, and kind of really got that taste of like, oh, you can be an influencer and manage social media and make all these connections. So that's really when I was like, okay, I got to figure this out.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, so cool. Okay. So, yeah. And I think that it's one of those things that you kind of follow your interests, you follow your passion. And then I feel like the right role kind of finds you. So I know some of you guys are out there and maybe social media is your thing. Maybe writing is your thing. Maybe organizing is your thing. Maybe you don't know what your thing is yet, and that's okay. I think the best thing you can do is to really start like dive in more to what interests you, right? If you're like, oh, Instagram is kind of cool, and I kind of like figuring out the algorithm and what works and what doesn't, and this or copywriting is kind of cool, and like what headlines catch people attention, and like just dive into the thing that you love to do, which I have to give like a little shameless plug here because we actually have a whole event coming up. If you guys are still kind of trying to figure out what is your thing, right? Like what is the thing that I want to dive into? And it might change over time too. Maybe you've been going down one path and you're like, oh, I think I just want to change my thing, right? Like, what do you want to specialize in? I want to not just be a general VA, but I want to be an Instagram manager or a podcast editor or a copywriter. There's so many different things that you can do and ways that you can specialize. So we're going to be talking all about specializing, about really narrowing down. This is a brand new workshop. We've never done it before. So make sure that you register for it because it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Okay. Shameless plug over. Okay. So let's do this because I know that you've got some tips for our audience. Yeah. Like I said, you are all over Instagram and we want to really be Instagram specific right now. We can go into more on the Q&A, but as far as Instagram goes, can you give me some of the top tips? Like what are the things that are working right now? What are 5 tips that I know you've come up with something awesome for using Instagram for your business? What is working?
Yeah, first, I mean, Reels are still like exploding. They came out about 6 or 7 months ago, but thanks to TikTok, that short form video content is the way to go. Even though you can't get insights on Reels, it's still a great way to boost your visibility and your reach. Putting a spin on what's trending, those popular dances or sound bites, and making that relatable to your industry, your niche, is really the way to go right now. So video content is blowing up on Instagram, and it's definitely not too late to jump on that Reels bandwagon.
Okay, let's talk about this, Courtney.
Yes. Okay.
And this is, you guys maybe thought you were coming for 5 tips on Instagram. It's really an Abby counseling session. So, I feel like I still have such a hesitancy when it comes to Reels, and I know they're powerful and I know they're effective, but I think I have in my brain that it has to be like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm not going to be creative enough or funny enough, or I don't know what to do. Or I'm like, oh, I just haven't like taken the time to really like, what do you suggest for somebody like me? That's like, I know I should maybe do a reel or 2 to get in front of some new audiences, but I don't know like how to really get started. What would you suggest?
Yeah, I mean, I personally would suggest going with what's trending. If you see something that's trending and it's like dancing or the pointing where you see like the listicles and the like fast tips and tricks, I think that's the best way to get started. And you can already repurpose the content that you're already making. So just taking captions that you might have already had written out and just making those into a video form, whether it is kind of like the talking head version of the reels, or you're not even saying anything, you're just there pointing at the words, you can really make it your own. And I think it is kind of intimidating when you see like the bigger Instagram accounts or influencers making crazy reels. But I think we just overthink it. I don't think it has to be that complicated. And I think it's definitely something everybody should jump on at least once. Just try it.
Okay. All right, guys, I want you to do this with me, okay? Everybody in the comments, if you have not done a reel yet, I've done a reel, but that's only because like my team was like, you guys were sitting there like filming me, like do this thing. And I'm like, okay, I can point. What am I doing? So you guys like, let's commit to do this together. All right. We're going to do a reel this week by the end of the day, Friday. We're going to do it. I'm going to do one too. It's going to be great. All right. Number 2.
Number 2, you might have noticed that you're not seeing a ton of those aesthetically pleasing pictures on Instagram anymore. That like pretty grid hasn't really blown up this year. It's more of like sharing graphics, those carousel posts, sharing GIFs and memes, really being relatable to your audience is really popular. So if you haven't tried, throwing a graphic on there, an infographic into your grid, definitely give that a try. They're really easy to share and savable too. So.
That's also really exciting in my brain, just because I feel like when I was first starting out on Instagram, that was another one of like my holdbacks. It was like, well, I don't have all these like professional photos, or I don't have like, I don't, I don't have the ability to make all these pictures look so beautiful, and I don't like pose like this on a pool and stuff like that. So like, I felt like I can't really like show up on Instagram. But one, even if you are doing photos, I am noticing too that people who just do like their real life candid stuff, it's totally fine. And accounts are growing like crazy that are like that. And then number 2, like you said, just like throw up some graphics and stuff. It doesn't always have to be your face. Like quotes, like our quotes and our memes and those kinds of things are those do really, really well. My team's always like, everyone loves a good quote.
We do. Those are the most popular. They're so easy to save and share. So for sure, graphics are the way to go.
Yeah. I feel like they get reposted a lot too. Like that's what I find. Like when I'm scrolling through Instagram, if somebody has like a really good quote, I will like share it to my story a lot. And so like same thing, if you have quotes, people are going to share them to your story. So awesome. Oh, we have a good question. Natalie asks, what is a reel? So can you give a brief explanation for like what Instagram Reels is? And if you're not on Instagram at all, it's probably still not going to make sense, but maybe you're on Instagram and you're not really sure if what you've seen is a reel or not a reel. So maybe do like a brief explanation of that.
Sure. Yeah. So it is TikTok's version, or it is Instagram's version of a TikTok. So it's short form video content. It's between 15 and 30 seconds long. So they're just really fast videos. On Instagram, they actually have their own Reels Explore feed down at the bottom now. So yeah. It's the new thing.
I'm like, this is going to be super ghetto, but okay. So I'm scrolling here, right? And as I scroll, oh no, it was there. Hold on. I had a good one. Okay. You're going to see the people that I follow on Instagram. Hopefully not like naked people. I don't think I follow naked. Okay. So like, see how it's just like auto playing. This girl, she's making like a smoothie or something, and I can click on that and it'll go to the actual. So it really looks like TikTok. Like if you've been on TikTok at all, and it's literally just a girl like making a smoothie, and it's probably getting like really good engagement and stuff. She already has like 73 likes on it and all that stuff.
Tons of comments. Yeah.
Yeah. And so literally, let me like go here. So if you're on your, I'm going to show you how to do this in real time. This is going to be really like, we're really high tech here at the Virtual Savvy. So this is my account, right? And if you go up to that plus sign up there, I'm going to click that little plus sign. Okay. And you're going to see the different options. And so there's a post that's going to go to your grid, a story, which is just those little things that show up for 24 hours. I can do a story highlight, which is going to show up for 24 hours, but then it's going to go in my highlights as well. IGTV, which is for long videos, right? Like if you're going to do like a 10, 15, 20-minute thing, that's IGTV. And then these reels, this is what we're talking about here. And these reels, when you click that, you can create, you can create different things. And we're not going to go through all of this right now, but literally you can choose music. You can do like different, my husband's calling me, sorry, goodbye. But you can choose music to go with it. It can be your face. It can be, you know, looking at other things. You can put graphics up there. There's so much that you can do with reels. And that's what we're talking about. They show up and they like Instagram really favors them, right? Like Instagram really likes reels.
They really like you to make reels.
They really like it. It's really good, guys.
Really good. Yeah, the next thing would be to start using those hashtags. Start hashtagging your photos. You can use up to 30 and just be really specific using those hashtags, make them relevant to what you're posting, and also start tagging your location. That's been a really big one too, just for your visibility and your discoverability, just getting your engagement out there.
Yeah. So whenever you're looking at hashtags, because my husband and I are starting to do like a little like family Instagram. Sometimes we're not super regular at posting, which is probably another tip. You should actually post regularly. Don't do what I'm doing with our little family one. But you can, once you start to type in a hashtag, it will show you like how popular that hashtag is. And you can add one or two that have like 5 million, but really like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like the like 5,000 to 500,000 are probably better to have a range of those, right? Ones that are like moderately popular, but not, you know, it's not like one.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to pick the big ones. You don't want to get lost in the Instagram sauce. Find ones that are related to your niche, your industry. But yeah, do a mix of small hashtags, big hashtags, kind of in between. So
yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. And we're going to get to a Q&A time, guys. I know I'm seeing some really good questions down here. What's next? What other tips do you have for us?
So something that's super new is now in the Instagram search bar, you can actually search keywords. So it's super important to start optimizing your captions with those specific keywords, and also utilizing that alt text, alternative text feature, to really describe what's going on in your photo, because that's really going to help with SEO and also accessibility with screen readers. It's just a win-win all around. So really just keywords.
Awesome. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So I went to, here's like somebody dancing on here. Okay. So I went to my little search. This is what you're talking about, right? Right there. And then up at the top, I can type in a keyword. So I'm going to type in like virtual assistant, right?
Yep, and it will give you recommended ones, and it'll actually pull any like accounts that have virtual assistant in the caption, things like that. And they're still kind of working on it. Yeah, those are kind of the recommended hashtags, but you can definitely start using those keywords in your captions for sure.
Awesome. Okay, I love it. What else we got?
The last one would be to show up on your Instagram stories. So if you already have a little bit of a following, whatever that may look like, this is a great way to nurture your current relationship with your audience and start using those stickers that are in the stories feature, like the polls, the sliders, the question boxes. Those are just great ways to engage and make connections with your current audience.
Awesome. I love it. Very good.
Yeah.
So we talked about this a little bit, but you know, I feel like our theme this year, which I love it. It's a really good theme, is be bold, right? Like, so how do we be bold on Instagram? Because let me know in the comments, guys, if you feel like this. I feel like one of my biggest hang up, one of most people's biggest hang up with Instagram is that it feels like it's a very personal platform, right? Like, you don't have to get that personal on Pinterest, and you know, your Facebook feed, you're probably just posting like normal, like here's an article, here's that, whatever. LinkedIn, same way. YouTube, like you're showing your face, but usually if you're creating a YouTube video, it's like you have a script and it's polished and it's this and it's that. Instagram, I feel like, is one of the most like raw forms of content and the most personal, which is like what makes it awesome, right? Like people want to deal with people. People want to, and if you don't think your clients are looking you up on Facebook and Instagram, they totally are. They're stalking you. You know it. So like that can be intimidating, right? So what are some of your tips for how to be bold on Instagram? And I know like you starting a new Instagram channel, this is one of the things that you've kind of struggled with a little bit, right? Of like overcoming that fear. So how have you done it?
Yeah, it can be super intimidating putting yourself out there. But I just started following other people who put themselves out there. If you're following other people who like don't really get social media and they don't really get it, then you're gonna feel even weirder putting yourself out there. So I just started following other people who post reels, post funny videos, post the graphics in their feed. And that's really been encouraging to me. And also, I just have to remind myself to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Sometimes you just gotta step out of your comfort zone. I have to work on that every day, especially when I'm on Instagram. But it pays off. I mean, I've met some awesome people, and my Instagram is growing, and I just keep learning. So get out of your comfort zone.
I do agree with what you were saying at first. I think that like creativity breeds creativity. And
right.
So if you want to be more creative, let's say you don't feel like you're going to be creative enough in your Instagram, then like follow creative people, because I can't tell you how many times like I've been watching somebody else's reel and I'm like, oh, that gives me an idea, or I've seen somebody else's, like I send stuff to you guys all the time. I'm like, look at this cool post, look at this one, and we obviously don't copy what they do, but like it gives us inspiration. Like, oh, we could do like we could do a carousel too, but ours could be about virtual assistance tips and like these different things. So I think that's a really, really great tip. And boldness, boldness creates more boldness. And so like, who are the people who are going live and doing these things? And there's this one girl I follow, and it's so funny because I'm not even that interested in her topic. But one of the reasons I love watching her is that she has really thin hair. Okay. And she talks about it. She talks about like her thin hair, and she wears extensions sometimes. And if you guys haven't noticed, I have like no hair. Right. And so it always, and like I wear extensions and I do fun stuff, and I love watching her. She talks about some like literally a topic totally unrelated to what I'm even interested in. But every time she goes live, like sometimes like her hair is kind of messy and it's this and it's that. And I'm like, oh, like, I don't know. There's just something about her that I'm like, yes. Like I can throw on a hat and go live too, or I can have this.
For sure. Yeah. It's that relatability factor, which is awesome. Yeah. And it's so cool too, because like once you get more comfortable putting yourself out there and posting things, like I've gotten messages saying like, this is so cool. Like I'm going to put myself out there too. So you don't know who you're impacting, and also like motivating and inspiring to put themselves out there. So it's just kind of really cool.
For sure. So good. Oh, we're getting some really good questions. I love this. People want to connect with real people, Melanie.
Yes.
So true. All right. So I have one more question for you. What advice do you have? And then we've talked about it a little bit here, but I didn't know if there was anything else, just anything else for somebody that's maybe new to Instagram. It's like, that's a platform that they've chosen. Like, this is where I want to show up. What is your advice for somebody that's really chosen that platform and wants to go all in on it?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say to jump right in. I think it can be overwhelming being bombarded with so much information and the algorithm, but just go in and try things out, because you're not going to break it. You can test things out, try different things, see what works and what doesn't work. And there's also like the awesome archive button. So if you don't like it, you can archive it and never see it again. But I would just say, like, if that's what you really want to do, just go for it.
Yeah. Something that I like to do is sometimes I'll go to somebody that I really, really like their Instagram, and I'm just like, oh, they have it together. Like they are just posting all the time, and their stuff gets great engagement and it looks good. And it's so whatever. And I will go to their feed and I will scroll and I will scroll and scroll and scroll. And I'll go to like the very bottom and I'll go and I'll look to where they like, when they first start, like what was their first post?
Right.
What was their second post? And most of the time they're terrible. Like they're just
Sure.
like super blurry pictures and like, here's like, you know, me looking out a plane window in the clouds, like the picture everybody has or whatever. Like it's like not anything, and it has no engagement, has no whatever. And that's really encouraging for me because it's like, everybody starts somewhere. And so the best thing that you can do to get started with Instagram, like you said, is just start, right?
A start. Yeah. And I think another thing too that we get kind of worried about is like our follower count. And I think of it as, I can't remember if I read it in a book or maybe it was a blog, but if you take your Instagram or whatever followers, whatever platform, take that amount of followers that you have. So let's say you have, we'll go with 20. Picture 20 people in a room that you're presenting what you're posting on Instagram to. Like, that's crazy to think about. That's 20 people that you're posting to. So I wouldn't get wrapped up in how many followers you have, that vanity metric, anything like that. So yeah,
I'm going to give one of our students a shout out because, and she didn't even know I was going to do this. Hopefully you're not mad that I'm doing this. But I've been watching, I actually subscribed to her channel and I've been watching her a lot. Christy De Silva. Okay.
Yeah.
Like maybe someone on our team can post her Instagram below. She's a Savvy Systems student and she is using Instagram to find clients and she's doing amazing, guys. She's showing up on her feed, she's showing up on Reels and on stories. And it's like, if you think about Instagram as a way to get clients, right? It's not so much about having, you know, 100,000 followers, even 10,000 followers, right? If you think about what you guys are doing, you want to connect to the right people. So creating content for the right people. And how many clients do you need to be fully booked out? 4? 5, right? It doesn't need to be 100,000. So your follower count is not quite as important as just creating valuable content and using those hashtags to get it in front of the right people. Like, what are the hashtags that your client would be looking for, right? Or like following some of your clients and engaging with them, right? Hitting them up in the DMs and just like getting known to them. Like, man, who is this girl that comments all the time on my posts, right? I only get 3 comments on each of my posts and it's always this girl. Who is this girl, right? And then they go over to your account and they're like, oh, wow, she's a copywriter. Whoa, look at all these copywriting tips she has. Oh, look, she's on Instagram. Oh, she has a cute dog. I have a cute dog. Like, you know what I mean? That's what's happening here. And that's what we're seeing is super, super effective for, you know, especially service providers, virtual assistants, freelancers, you know, Instagram managers, whatever. It's not as much about having this crazy high count as just showing up in a quality way and then getting in front of your audience. And I think that's huge. So go follow Christy De Silva. She's doing really, really awesome.
Yeah, she's crushing it.
She's crushing it on Instagram. And I'm just like, yeah, come on, girl. It's awesome. She's one of our Savvy Systems students. All right. Let's do this. Let's do a Q&A time. I've already seen some really awesome questions in the comments. So we'll just start going through them. And yeah, we will. I'm going to try to scroll up and get some of them from the beginning. What is Courtney's Instagram? You should all go follow her.
It is at Keeping It Court.
Keeping It Court. Yes, you guys all go follow her. It's so good. She talks a lot about like working from home and work from home tips. It's really awesome. All right, let's see here. We already went over what a reel is. Do you have a suggestion of where to find the best hashtag ideas for what we're doing? Lynette asks.
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I just use the native Instagram app for doing Instagram research because you can just start plugging away. If you're doing, let's say, social media management, go ahead and put that into the search and it's going to pull up a ton of recommended hashtags. And then from there, you can see if those hashtags are too big, not narrowed down enough. And that's a really great way to start. And I would also suggest using all 30 when you're just getting started. You can use 30 hashtags. So use them all.
It's so funny. I was like, on Instagram the other day looking at this girl's account, and she only had like 1,000 followers, and she was doing this like amazing stuff. Like her content was so good. And I'm like, why does this girl not have more followers? And she had been around like a long time, like years and years and years. And I went and looked, and she had no hashtags on any of her posts. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like if this girl would have just put, because her posts were good, they were like really good. And I was like, if this girl would have been using relevant hashtags in each one of her posts, I mean, I think she'd probably have like 5 or 10,000 followers.
Sure. For sure.
So it's crazy. It really, really does make a difference. Here's a question. Does Facebook Creator Studio have the option to have more outreach due to the post using hashtags for Instagram? I haven't found any dedicated field to use hashtags, so I'm wondering if the hashtags are counted in the Creator Studio as hashtags, or is text making my post invisible to those particular hashtags? Does that question make sense to you?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, so I think what they're asking is, so if you're doing, because you can create Instagram posts on Facebook Creator Studio, right?
Can. Yes.
So if you put those hashtags in there, are they going to show up as hashtags in Instagram?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think they should. I know we use Planoly or Planoly to do ours, and we can add hashtags within there and they show up on Instagram. So I'm not quite sure. I would have to do some more research on the Creator Studio aspect, but you should just be able to throw it right in with your post. So.
Yeah, and I mean, Facebook owns both of them, so I think that using Creator Studio would be fine if you're wanting to like have it post in both places easily. But you can also do that natively from the Instagram app, which is a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just create a post using Instagram. And then there's also a like share to Facebook. I'm like, yes, don't mind if I do. Okay. This is a great one because this isn't something we talked about, is how to really stand out in our Instagram bio. Ooh. So your bio, do you guys know? I'll find you a bio if you don't know what a bio is. Okay, so I'm on my Instagram account, right? And this bio is this little, this part of the text, right? So what comes up, like you have like your name, right? And then just some things about you.
So facts. Yeah, I mean, you can start throwing those keywords if, like, for the Virtual Savvies, it does say VA mentor. So when people are searching VA or virtual assistants, we're more likely to pop up in their search. So you can start to put those, like your niche, your specific industry right into your name. That's a great way to optimize it so you come up in other people's searches. And then I wouldn't make your bio very long. I don't even think you can on Instagram. Just keep it short and simple. And if you have a website, throw that link in there as well, or a freebie. But I mean, those are all great ways to optimize your bio.
Yeah, you can do one link. So I think that, if linked either to your website or link to, if you have like a Calendly, like a way to schedule an appointment with you. I think if you have a freebie, if you're collecting emails, that's probably one of the best things you can do, right? Is some kind of like a freebie or something. But if whatever you have, like link to something, right?
And you can even make, I know a lot of people use Linktree. You can actually customize one in Canva and put all of your links in there, make it branded really pretty, and throw it into your bio. So I
love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is more about like Instagram management. How can you manage multiple accounts as your main business? I want to make this my niche, but I have no idea how to start. So we're talking a little bit about Instagram management, which is one of the things we're going to talk about in Career Day. Okay, guys, here we go. We're going to be talking about how to niche down in a variety of ways, but let's say that you want to do Instagram management and that is like the main thing that you want to do. How do you manage multiple accounts? Because you manage my account and your account, right?
Yeah, and I actually have a ton of other accounts, like my dogs and my husband's golf account. So I mean, just staying really organized, you can actually toggle between all of the accounts on the Instagram app. I think I have 5. I'm logged into 5 Instagram accounts. I don't know how many you can do. If there's a max, maybe there's 10. But just staying really organized with each content calendar, whose account you're on, who you're posting for. But yeah, I would just
You can literally, I mean, like so I can click on this up here and it'll bring my other accounts right down there. So you can literally just toggle between them when you're logged into all of them. And there's a little add account button. So if you're not, if you want to add a new account, then you would just add the account down there. So they will have to give you the username and password for the account for you to log in. Okay, great question. Okay, oops. I had a good one and then it went away.
Oh no.
Where did it go? Okay, so from a newbie, when you say like tag your location, do you mean like put the hashtag, do the little @ sign? Like what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so when you're actually posting a photo, I actually need to see, what does that look like?
Yeah.
To post a photo.
Yeah. So sorry. we're really classy here at the Virtual Savvy. Okay. So I'm going to go as if I'm posting a brand new picture. Okay. Like I said, we're going to do that little arrow up at the top, and I'm going to do that. I'm doing a post. Okay. And so there's my son. So that's the picture I'm going to post. And then I'm going to click next, and I can add little filters or whatever. Then I'm going to click next. And then this is where you'll do it. So you'll write the caption. You can tag people. Always, if you're hanging out with other people that have Instagrams, or if you're using, like a laptop bag from Target, like tag Target, you know what I mean? Like anything you can do, and then add location, right? So that's where I would select Springfield, Missouri, as where I am, right?
Yep. That's perfect. Easy.
Okay. What do you suggest for accounts that have so low reach?
Oh, I would dive into your analytics and see if you have any of the posts, like see what's working, and do more of that. And then as far as reach, like I said, reels, reels get the reach. They're really pushing those out there to help with engagement. And your visibility will blow up if you post reels, even if you're doing like one a week. I would just start there. And the Instagram algorithm is loving video. So
yeah. I agree. And I would also, if you're managing an account for somebody else, like let's say somebody you get an account that you're supposed to manage and it has like 50,000 followers. Like you land like this major account and they have like no engagement. You're like, what is going on? You might want to find out if they ever like purchased followers, because that used to be like a big thing.
That's a thing, yeah.
That was, I guess it's still a thing, but I feel like for a while it was like just purchase and it was like the worst advice ever, because it's like, I have 10,000 like fake profiles following me. And so don't do that. Number one, don't ever purchase followers. But like that it's good to know your history. Like if your clients ever did that, and you would have a really, really hard time getting engagement until you really started to build up a natural audience. Like if somebody bought followers, I would almost just like assume you're starting from zero, because those people mean nothing because they're not real people even half the time.
And you can actually go in and remove followers as well. So if you see that there's spam accounts, I would suggest just getting rid of those followers and those accounts so that it doesn't mess with your engagement. For sure. With your reach, yeah.
Yes. This is such a good question. Chelsea asks, how real is too real? I'm starting out as a social media manager. Also on my Insta, I'm trying to be more authentic. That includes body positivity and mental health. Are there things we shouldn't be posting to be more professional?
Ooh, I just think it depends on who your target client is, your target audience. But I think that the more authentic and real that you are, the better, because you're just making those real relationships and connections. And I don't think it can hurt. It depends on who your client is, I think.
So there's we did this big deep dive study this year here at the Virtual Savvy about what creates a fanatic fan? Like, what's the difference between it's like, oh yeah, like, sure, I like Starbucks or whatever, or like, oh my gosh, I am freaking in love with XYZ, whatever it may be, right. Little coffee shop, right? And what's the difference? And a lot of times, especially for like influencer type people or Instagram or whatever, bloggers, a lot of time it's this like line in the sand. You're like, you know what? I'm going to talk about this thing. Like I'm going to like we're going to be like you draw the line in the sand and it's like I'm going to talk about these things and you're either going to like it or you're going to hate it. And if you hate it, then don't follow me. And if you
Right.
like it, come on over. And when you like the people who I see really like explode on Instagram and all the stuff, like some of them have haters because they usually
Sure.
do like this line in the sand content, right? That it's just like it or leave it, you know? And I mean, I mean, if I'm being honest, that's so not my personality. I'm not a like it or leave it. I'm like, don't leave, be my friend.
Yes, please stay.
Everybody's welcome. I love you all. You know what I
feel
mean?
that.
But I do notice that like the things that's lined in the sand content, like if I do a post that's like, we are worth our rate, like charge your worth, stop being down on yourself. The more that I'm like, yeah, and I dig into something I really believe in, whether it has to do with virtual assistants or not, it could be about like family. Like I took my kids, I like this is a good example of one. I talked once on Instagram about how I took my kids late to school that day because like my kids just like we were being rushed. Everybody was starting to get like kind of angry, like we were like getting at each other, and I was like, we are stressing out so much to get like my kindergartner to school. Like,
Right.
really, is it that important if my kindergartner is like 30 minutes late, if it means that our family is going to be happy and healthy and da 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 da? And it was just this whole like, you know what? We made the choice to send my kid late to school on purpose, and we had a better morning. And I like kind of dug into it about like either like our family, like I think what I said was like perfect attendance is not a family value is one of the things that I talk. And like people were like, yeah, and like got all rah about it. But there were a couple people that was like, that's not teaching your kids responsibility, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, you're not my people. Like,
right.
I'm sorry. Like we value this and not this. And that's like, you know, get in or get out. And I think that, your content doesn't have to be completely polarizing all the time, but I do think that sometimes if you just like, you know, draw the line in the sand, stake your ground, whatever. I don't know. I've just seen that those kinds of things really do. They create fanatic fans.
Right. And I think the more that you can show off your personality, if that's really who you are, and you know, you're fun and you like to post hot takes and crazy things, then I wouldn't post things that aren't aligned with your personality, because it just wouldn't seem right. I don't think. Like, just be you.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Oh, there's Courtney's Instagram. You should all go follow her. I love it. Okay, so if you do want to schedule content, because I know some of us like to do the batching thing. I love batching.
That's
It's a really
batch all things.
yeah. One of the things is that, guys, like, we didn't really talk about them, but consistency on any platform makes a difference, right? Like we've been going live every Tuesday and we've started sharing that to YouTube. And just going live on YouTube once a week has like crazy increased our followers. And it's just like, oh, when you show up regularly on one platform, like it really makes a difference. It compounds, right? Like it's still going to be slow, but the more you do it, like it really compounds. If you do like consistency plus strategy, that's like growth. Consistency, strategy equals growth, literally.
Yeah,
so yeah. So like, so all that to say, being consistent, if you're going to do Instagram, like let's do it. And so try to do a post on your feed probably every day, right? Or at least like 5 times a week, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I would try to do every day or 5 times, 5 times during the week for sure, just to stay consistent. And especially with the algorithm, you just want to make sure you're always kind of up in people's news feed. So
yeah, so scheduling has a lot to do with being consistent. So you could schedule literally all of your posts for like the entire month, and then all you have to do is do like your little stories or reels or whatever. So do you have any suggestions for what scheduling tools are out there? Which ones you like?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Planoly, and I know that you can also do the Facebook Creator Studio. I just really like Planoly because you can actually see the what your grid is going to look like, and you can actually schedule stories as well in Planoly and drag and drop. There's just a different features than the Creator Studio, but Creator Studio is free and it's also really easy to use. So
Yeah.
I would definitely.
The Planoly thing, maybe somebody on my team could link to the website. I really like it also because you can do like these hashtag banks. And so
Mhm.
you could say like, if I'm posting about family, then you can like have like a set of hashtags that you can use every time you do family, or because you shouldn't just have, it's like we're like use 30 hashtags. Well, you shouldn't use the same 30 hashtags every single time you post, right? You want to kind of
Yep.
alter them. So you could have like 20, 30 different banks of different types of hashtags. So like virtual assistants 1, virtual assistants 2, copywriting, getting clients, work from home tips, family, right? And you can have these different categories and different hashtag banks of like, I already researched these 30 hashtags. I have them in there. And then you can bloop, just put them right in without having to like do the research every
Retype.
time.
Yep.
Yeah. So Planoly, I don't know how to say it. We use it, but we don't know how to say it. It's one of our favorites. But Creator Studio, I think that would be, we always give you like the free and the paid option. Creator Studio is probably the best free option. Planoly is probably the best paid option, in my opinion. I think Planoly maybe has a free version, but it's really limited, I think. So, yeah. Okay, so good. This is a good question. I love working with realtors. Any suggestions on that? So maybe it's not realtors, maybe it's health professionals, maybe it's like, so how do you create content for a certain target audience?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, first, I would just start looking in that search bar, realtors, and make posts about what their pain points are and how you can, be the solution, help them out, and base your content kind of around that.
Yeah, like real estate tips, how to be organized as a real estate agent, how to, get more done in less time, and using all of those.
Yeah, tips, tricks, and hacks. Those always do really well.
I think a lot of times too, we get nervous about like giving away the farm. Like we're like, well, I don't want to give away all my tips because then why would they hire me? Most of the time people are hiring you because you have all the expertise and like it's a time saver, right? Like, well, I can hire you to do this because obviously you're knowledgeable. And we have always like one of our values is that we like we're generous and we really value first content. So you go to our blog, like we have so much content on there, and if we're being honest, you could probably learn how to be a VA just by reading all the content.
Sure.
And like never buy our course, but people buy our course because it's like, well, if your content's so good over there, and we do have things that are exclusive to the course that aren't on there, and you're going to find it faster and all this stuff. But like we've always had the like, let's just give value like crazy and trust that people are going to see that value as us showing off our expertise. And it's worked out pretty well. So
yeah, I mean, and it's just kind of like a little sneak peek to what they could be getting. So I think that, yeah, you're not losing out on anything by sharing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you have like a signature way, like maybe you design a website and you have this signature, like 6-step process of how you design a website, like talk about that process, really like dive into the different steps and what makes it unique and talk about the whole system and stuff like that. Talking about the system doesn't mean that like, could someone go and do it themselves? Sure, they could. But again, you're going to do it better and you're going to do it faster and with your expertise and your experience. So like, I don't know. I'm all about like, talk about the systems, talk about the methods, like have maybe a couple of things like, we give a lot of tips on how to find clients, but like there's so much in the marketing section of our course that we never talk about live because that's kind of like that's like our secret sauce, right? And we're like, we're going to keep some of this to ourselves. So find out like, what are the secret sauce things that you're not going to talk about publicly? And you can literally just get like a piece of paper. I did this once. I did a Google Drive document, but you get a piece of paper and you literally just draw a line in the middle. And it's like, this is free content. This is what I talk about to everybody. And this is like my behind closed doors content. This is like my secret sauce stuff that I'm not going to talk about, right? And then you can have a distinction between like, here's the stuff I don't want to give away the whole farm, and but make the stuff on the top, make it a big list. Like, it's okay to share your expertise.
For sure.
Okay, so we've been talking about some of these questions already, so I'm not going to dive into some of them. As a VA, should you use your personal account to advertise, or is it advisable to have a separate VA Insta account?
Ooh, I like this question. I mean, I would turn your personal into like a business account or a creator account, just so you kind of already have a following. If you're not comfortable with that, yeah, definitely start a business or personal or a creator account, just so you get insights too, because that's really going to help you, with your engagement. You're seeing those metrics and analytics, especially when trying to find that like ideal audience. So,
yeah, it's really, you can do either. I think it's personal preference.
Yeah, and you can switch back and forth. So if you switch your personal account over to a business or creator and you're like, I'm not really feeling this, you can switch it back to a personal account as well. So.
Yeah. I just did my personal because I was like, I ain't got time to do another account. So I'm like, I got one, it's fine. And then, but some people are like, no, I want my personal for personal. I want my business for business. That's totally fine. That's kind of a difference between Instagram and Facebook. Like, so Instagram, you can have 4 or 5 different accounts. Like, it doesn't matter. Like you could have, just for you, not even for your clients, you could have 5 accounts. Whereas Facebook, like, they do not want, like, don't go create a brand new account for your business. And you can have multiple pages, right? So like Abby Ashley has one Facebook account, but I have like 3 or 4 different pages like that I've created under that account. And those are my businesses. So that is kind of a differentiating thing, is that you don't want to create multiple Facebook accounts, but you can totally create multiple Instagram accounts. Hopefully that makes sense. These are such good questions, you guys.
I know, so many.
Let's see here. Have you used has anybody used Canva? I don't actually know what Publer is. I'm guessing it's like just a publishing posting app. I have not used either of these yet. I know the feature with Canva is new. If you already pay for Canva, it might be something to check out. I mean, we love Canva. You guys know we love Canva. I love Canva because they're constantly working. So if there's any bugs, I'm assuming that they're probably going to work on them because they're just a really great business. But I personally haven't used it, but I'd love to hear in the comments if any of you guys have used these for scheduling. Like we said, we we love Planoly.
Ew, it's awesome.
Yeah, here's a link. That's what we use. It's not an affiliate link. It's just what we use. All right, cool. Buffer's another one. Yeah, somebody, Neville said Buffer. There's so many out there. Later is another one. So there's lots of different scheduling tools out there. And you can go and just try a couple of different ones and see which one you like the best, right? We always give like, here's a free, here's a cheap, here's like an advanced one, but here's all the options. Just go there's,
do it works too.
The best one is the one that you like the most. The one that you're like, I will post consistently using this thing. That's the best one for you.
For sure.
Yes. Here somebody says, Canva works great. Brianna says, oh yeah, she's social media, everything. So let's talk to Brianna. Canva works great. However, you can only schedule one page within the design file at a time. I can't edit the file once it's been scheduled. Yeah. I can see that. Tailwind. Yeah. Tailwind now has the ability to do Instagram scheduling. It used to just be Pinterest, I think. Awesome. Oh, let's end on this one. Do you recommend combining passions, interests on one Instagram account? For example, besides building my own business, I'm passionate about health and wellness. That's actually my target market. What do you think? I don't know. I want to answer all the questions. Do you have any? You go first.
Yeah, I mean, I would just go for it. And I think it goes back to that other question too of, bringing in your personality into your business. Like, I think we have like an idea that it has to be so professional and business only. But I think if those are your interests and that's your target audience, and you can also show off your personality within that, I would just go for it.
I would agree. The only time I would see is if you really like in your heart of hearts, you know that someday you're gonna have two separate businesses and these will be totally separate and blah, 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 then like maybe, but even then, like, don't make two accounts right now. Like it's hard enough to stay consistent on one account.
For sure.
So like this is the problem that I see so many entrepreneurs doing is that they're multi-passionate. Most entrepreneurs are multi-passionate. And so rather than picking one thing and being consistent with it, we try to do all of the things. We want to do all of them and we don't do any of them well. And so I would rather, if you're like, this doesn't really seem to fit, like, okay, so you were saying that you're really passionate about health and wellness and you want to build your like VA business, right? So if you want to be a VA for like health and wellness people, or you want to attract people who maybe that's not their business, but they're just like into that also, 100%. But let's say that you're like super into building model trains and like that has like nothing to do with your business. Like maybe once in a while, like put a little Insta story. So it's like this little quirky thing, but don't put like 80% of your feed being pictures of your model trains, right? Because that's not attracting your ideal audience. Like I would just hold off on the model training. Like, why did I choose that? I have no idea.
I mean, that's pretty
never
good.
built a model train in my life. But like, you know what I mean? So you do want the majority of your feed to be attracting your ideal audience. And I would just leave like some of your little like extra passions for like, you know, an occasional story or an occasional post or something like that. So hopefully that's helpful, but only try to build one Instagram account at a time, please. Please. Good stuff. All right, go build your model trains, people. No.
Go make a reel.
Go make a reel about your model train, not about your model trains. Hey, here's what I would love you guys to do, right? Like, let's do this. Like, you guys do your reel, and then you can tag us either in the reel or in like share your reel to your story and then tag the Virtual Savvy because we would love to see it. We want to comment on them. We want to like, that's one of the things that can boost engagement, right? So if you're like tagging us in your stories and in your reels and things like that, then we can go and we can engage. And we've even been known to share some of like our savvy stuff on our Insta stories, which has, you know, because thanks to Courtney, we have like a billion Insta followers now. So like go and comment, you know, tag us in your stuff. Sure. We want to see what you're doing. And yeah, we want to see you showing up this week. Okay, guys, can we do it? Yes. Hearts, thumbs up. Whatever, let me know. All right, cool. And don't forget that Career Day is coming up. So if you want to learn how to specialize your services, how to niche down, how to make more money in less time, and how to find your actual passion and turn it into a business, definitely check out thevirtualsavvy.com/career day. It's going to be amazing. Thank you for joining me, Courtney. This was super fun.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun.
Yay. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye.